So he was going into a certain amount of things, but then again, on the other hand, we had more conscious people in the early 90s than we do now. Now, how did that happen? How can we have more conscious people and the crime rate was growing, which they predicted in 1997, 1986. They predicted that the consciousness would rise because they had checked the Kundalini energy some kind of way. You know the white boy, don't count him out. Motherfucking to do what he want to do. You see what I'm saying? They might get a nigga to do it. You see, but they still get it done. And they had the conference in 1997, and they realized that the Kundalini energy was rising in indigenous people. Because they said it lay dormant for millennia. So one time I white people. You see what I'm saying? They concluded in 1986 they did that. They concluded in 1983 that based on melanin, the black man was God, and Carl Pribben's mind-brain report. Mind-brain report. And then the so-called infamous to them prophecy of Nostradamus that black people were coming to their own in the 1990s. That did happen. But what happened was obviously something has happened where basically we got majority of the people dead than we had 10 years ago. You see what I'm saying? People was waking up all over the planet. But all of a sudden they're dead now. So that means in actuality, and I must say this again, they must have replaced some people with somebody else because they can replace their losses in a day. So go back and get the movie Fifth Element. Whenever you see them put that body together, that clone thing, that's probably how fast they can do it. And you probably are looking at a literal cloning procedure when you get the movie. You see what I'm saying? They don't just make these movies for no reason. For the mere fact that you got thousands of these movies coming out now yearly, thousands of them, literally hundreds of them, I always exaggerate. Hundreds of them that came out within the 1990s, and you hardly had none in the 1980s or the 1970s. You had a few, you got some exes and shit. But I'm talking about some real deal stuff like this stuff that's coming out, the astronauts' wife, Stigmata, the end of days coming out. You know what I'm saying? In the 90s and stuff, they let you know, and they're not just bringing this shit out of the lab. That means in actuality, they're showing you also the technology. You see what I'm saying? So obviously, we're talking about literally a clone war, as the Star Wars thing suggested. You see what I'm saying? A clone war type thing, as they suggested. So we're talking about a lot of stuff that's actually going down at this particular time. Go get the movie Johnny 2.0. The movie Johnny 2.0. Because this movie is going to be dealing with cloning. But the movie is going to show, in the movie, it's going to specifically show that the clone does not suspect itself to be the clone. You see. And so get the movie and all, this, the guy who was dealing with the genetic engineering himself, who was Johnny, literally got hit in the head. And when he woke up in the hospital room, he come to find out that it was his clone. His clone actually woke up, and the real Johnny was still living. But he had gone off freelance and was on the run, and they had to activate his clone after 20 years to try to track him down, because the clone would know who he was. So the clone basically would have the same type of thoughts on how to track him. But basically, the clone actually thought that he had woken. He was awakened from the night he was knocked out, which just so happened to be the real person got knocked out and got hit in the head 20 years before. So it basically shows that the clone does not suspect itself to be the clone, which also goes to this particular information that there was this sister down in Atlanta was talking to me about 2 months ago, and she was saying she had a cousin, and the actual cousin came and told her he was in prison. And he said, they came and got me one night. And she said, well, what did they do? She said, a bunch of white men showed up at my cell, and they came and got me. She said, you know what happened? She said, all I know is I ended up back in my cell the next day. So in so many words, this clone that's talking to her didn't suspect himself to be a clone, but the original host was killed. You see what I'm saying? So that's very key. Like they said, please stay out of the prisons. We got 2 movies coming out. You can't. The movie you want to see is the movie on genetic engineering. He got a love story out too. So don't go to the wrong movie. I can't think of it. It's some kind of gene something. The gene thing is in the name. Anyway, it's talking about how they can do with any kind of cell in your body, but yet you lose 100 and something cells. 100 and something cells, huh? Gattaca. That's it, Gattaca. Where you lose 100 and something cells every day. 500 cells each day. 700 billion or something. I know you just, but yet they don't need one of them motherfuckers to do all kind of crazy shit. Which goes into the genetic cloning thing, which we got to get into. Now, let me go into the history of this thing for you so you can understand some things. Let's go into the history of this. What happened was this. Each time you tap into a new area and you do research on that area, you find out that it's more advanced than what it is because what little bit that we first tap into, we don't realize that we're not getting current events, first of all. You know what I'm saying? And this government has been advanced for a long time. So therefore, if they develop cloning in the 1940s, then that means that it just didn't take them damn near 50 years to get it right. They developed it in the 1940s. They started using it in the 1940s. So somewhere around the 1970s, they got it right. Or let's put it this way, they were ready to use it as a genetic weapon. From 1945 to 1975, they perfected the cloning shit. They could get it. Perfecting means how fast can you clone? The first one might have took a month. Then it might have took a week. Might have took a year. The first one took a year. Then a month. Then a week until they can get that shit down to a day in a matter of hours now. After it becomes a matter of hours, you can replace your losses in a day. Just dread.